Welcome everyone to the Dazn Boxing Show. Myself, Adil Adipo, former WBC Cruiserweight champ Tony Bellew. Happy Christmas to you all and Happy New Year. The end of the year brings the Dazn Boxing Awards as well. No trophy, just myself and Tony going through some of the best things to happen so far in 2021. And let me tell you now, it isn't easy. We've racked our brains for this one, so don't come at us when we've got it wrong, because it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. Tony, where should we start? What's the one should we kick off with?
You tell me.
Best fighter. No, best fight of the year.
Best fight of the year?
Best fight of the year.
I'm not going to lie, I feel like I'm forgetting something from round about the March-April period, but I'm going to stick it out there. I'm going to go Tyson Fury's victory over Deontay Wilder in that third fight.
Good fight.
Great fight.
I mean, when you have that many knockdowns,
Yes.
when Tyson Fury looked like, I actually thought Tyson Fury was done. I'm not joking, the second knockdown, he kind of just slumped. I thought, is he going to lose?
It's the way the right hand hits him clean on the forehead but shudders through his whole body. When it's slowed down, slow effect, you see it ripple like a wave through his body.
It's incredible.
It's an incredible amount of power. It's literally every single ounce of Deontay Wilder goes through.
Yeah, Deontay
Tyson
Wilder
Fury.
couldn't have landed a better shot.
No.
I mean, he's landed some good ones over his career. Lewis Ortiz, you think of that one, you think of Bermain Stavern and others, but that one, he's probably thinking, that's the money. You know, you've landed shots. You must think, that's it, he ain't getting up.
It's just, it's a perfect punch. And the worst thing is Tyson Fury's coming onto it as well. It's kind of like when he hits Brazil and Brazil just collapses.
Yeah.
It hits Tyson Fury and it takes a split second to react. But as he does react, his body just goes, woof. And it's just wow. To get up from there, what a guy, what a fighter. Yeah. What an amazing specimen.
I can't argue that choice. But my one, I'm going for a domestic dust-up, because I love domestic dust-ups and you can't beat them. Ted Cheeseman versus Troy Williamson was ridiculous. Yes. Ridiculous, I say. It was in your hometown of Liverpool as well, and that fight went back and forth. Honestly, there was a time when I thought Cheeseman was going to win it. Troy Williamson had that second wind, and in the end, stopped at the right time, because, perfect stoppage, but fantastic result for Troy Williamson. What a fight that was.
It was, and it lived up to, well, it went way beyond expectation. Yeah. We expected a really good hard fight. Ted Cheeseman's in a great fight every single time he's in a boxing ring. But we didn't know enough about Williamson to see if he could go to them depths and them levels after being hurt himself a couple of times in the fight. And then I thought, I'm not going to lie, I thought he was done.
Williamson?
I thought Williamson was done.
Started breathing heavily, punches
I thought Cheeseman was getting stronger as the fight went on, because, he's used to that championship distance. And then out of nowhere, boom, the tide gets turned, and it's just an amazing result.
Yeah, amazing. I'm going to go with your one, though, in terms of, if we're going to pick one, I'm going to say Wilder Fury as well, because that had everything. What was it, 4 knockdowns? 4 knockdowns
crazy.
In a heavyweight fight.
The guy's that big.
Guy's that big, you know. You've been in that division. All right, best fighter. Best fighter of 2021. Now, look, I know the obvious one is Canelo, pound for pound #1. He's had a good year. But let's think outside the Canelo box for a second and pick someone else.
I'm even going to take Canelo into consideration.
Ooh.
In every fight that he's gone into, he's the overwhelming favourite.
Massive favourite.
Every single
odds
time.
On, all the time.
He's always odds on. Now, for me, this might be a little bit controversial, but the fighter I'm going to name was not the favourite going into the biggest, most defining fight of his career. Everybody labelled him as just being, he's a cruiserweight. He's not just any cruiserweight.
I know where you're going.
He's the greatest cruiserweight there's ever been. I'm going for Alexander Usyk.
I want to argue, but I can't.
His performance on the night was
just the whole event as well. It was epic.
He was phenomenal. He was fantastic. He went in there against a big, strong, brilliant fighter in Anthony Joshua, and he done what he needed to do. And I actually think he's only going to get stronger and better from here on out. I know he's already talking about, I'm willing to go back down to cruiserweight to face Canelo.
I like it.
It's just, he's amazing. Even though I've took a good beating off him before today, he only goes up.
You won't be the only one, so trust me.
I'm not going to.
You won't be the only one.
I won't be the first. I will definitely won't be his last.
Yeah.
So I only have admiration for him. So for me, he's my fighter of the year. He's an exceptional fighter.
Look, again, Canelo's probably going to win this award, but for me, and look, I admit I like this guy probably a bit too much. Vasily Lomachenko, who came off that loss against Teofimo Lopez, had shoulder surgery, has had a ridiculously long career, so the body is starting to wear down a bit. But he reminded everyone, including myself, that I still think he is the best lightweight in the world right now. I know Kambosos has all the belts, but I think his performances against Nakatani and Comey, where he's literally telling Comey's corner, you might want to stop this right now. Yeah. I mean, the arrogance of the man. The arrogance of the man. So I'm going to say Vasily Lomachenko for those 2 comeback wins. And I think it's going to be a ridiculously good 2022 for Vasily Lomachenko. All right, KO of the year.
I am going to go for, which, you know, is a hard one to do, but Baumgartner over Terry Harper. No one's seen that coming.
Vicious.
Yes, she was spiteful. I knew the minute she was walking to that ring.
There's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a problem.
Nobody walks to the ring with a strut like that, and it's just the moves and the flow, and I was like, she's on it.
She's on it.
She's on it. She ain't playing.
No.
And like the crowd were booing and they were on it, and she was just like, yeah, what? And I just thought, let her off the leash. And to have, yes, you think she's going to win, even just by the ring walk, I really did. But the manner of the victory I never seen coming, because we don't really see that many vicious knockouts like that in the women's game.
You don't see, that's one thing. You don't normally see stoppages where the fighter stays on their feet as well, do you? Literally, Terry Harper, look, froze. Like just literally almost got stood still standing up, which is a bit strange.
The brain has been rocked in the cranium, and what's happened is the lights are out, but she's standing up. I mean, I had a similar instance against Don Stevenson in Canada.
Yeah.
He hits me so hard, I'm asleep, but I'm on my feet.
Yeah.
I'm actually asleep, and the referee, Michael Griffin, at the time, an amazing referee, saved my life, because it's the next punch that you're going to get hit. The punch that you can't brace for is the punch that really hurts the boxer. The punch that you don't see coming, and as I said before, you can't brace for. And
Reminds me a bit of Povetkin Price, that when you say that.
Yeah.
Where Price is on his feet and Povetkin still lands another left hook. So yeah,
Mark
referees have got to
Lyson, the
jump in.
referee, that was fantastic. He was really done a brilliant job of stopping Baumgartner taking that extra shot, because, as I say, Terry Harper's out on her feet.
Yeah, Baumgartner is definitely going to be dangerous in whatever division, 130, 135, maybe even 140. All right, my KO of the year.
Let's hear it.
Rosado Melkuziev. Rosado on the back foot lands the sweetest of knockouts. And you know, it isn't just a knockout, it's a celebration after. He kind of he runs around like that.
He's in shock by what's happened, and then you see Hopkins just on the outside outside ringside area, and he's running up and down. He doesn't know what to do. Honestly. And like Gabe's just thinking.
And maybe because it was an upset as well. I think that's why it's my KO of the year. Melkuziev was brought in to beat him. Yeah. Let's be honest, beat him. You're going to beat a name that everyone knows in America. It's going to open you to the American public. And Rosado was like, not quite yet.
Not on my watch.
Not on my watch, sir.
But I understand why Gabe reacts the way he does, because that is, for anybody out there wondering, why does he tense up and it's like he's angry. Yeah. That is so much pent-up anger, frustration being released all at once. Yeah. Because for Gabe, he will have been wrote off by so many going into the fight. Oh, he's just going to get knocked out. It's Gabe Lozado. He's always in a good fight, but he loses the big ones. Yeah. And it's just, I told you. And that's exactly what he's feeling when he's walking down that ring.
You kind of had a bit of that when you first David Haye fight as well.
Just a bit.
Just a little bit of that as well. All right, time now to move on to the biggest upset of 2021. This isn't going to be easy because there have been so many big upsets in the boxing ring. We could do a top 5 here. But, Tone, we've got to be fair. We've got to have one choice each. What are you going for?
I'm not being funny, but we could do a top 5 and it would just be the zone fight all the way through, because there has been so many upsets on our great platform. Yeah. And this one was on our great platform. I'm going to vote for Teofimo Lopez against Kambosos.
Big upset.
Huge upset.
Big upset.
There's been some big ones.
You know what I like? You know what I hate, Tone? After the event, I thought Kambosos was going to win. No, you didn't.
No, yeah.
No, you didn't. Stop lying. You didn't think Kambosos was going to win. No one did.
I woke up the next morning on social media and I said, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you said. Nobody was picking Kambosos to beat Teofimo Lopez. Yeah. And I said the same to George as well, because George was following me on social media. And I was like, listen, you didn't show me anything against Lee Selby that identified that you could beat Teofimo Lopez.
Agreed.
And what you have to understand sometimes is, just because they haven't shown it doesn't mean they haven't got it. When a fighter's unbeaten, you do not know their capabilities.
That's it.
And never ever has it been outlined to me more so than when Kambosos defeated Teofimo.
You know who he reminds me of a bit?
Go on.
When he first came through to the UFC, Conor McGregor. There's something about the way in which he talks and
his demeanour.
The way he conducts himself. There's a superstar in there. There really is. I like Kambosos. So I'm now part of the Kambosos fan club. Kambosos, if you want to send me any T-shirts, any gear, feel free to send it over. I'll take it.
I love the way he comes across. Speaking to him and messaging him directly through our social media platforms. Lovely boy. I mean, he's a man after my own heart. The minute he told me he was a mad Evertonian, that sold it to me. I mean, he's got
is that
me.
what he is?
Yeah, he's a crazy Evertonian. So
Feel free not to send that stuff anymore, Canvas.
Make sure there's an Everton badge on it, mate. We can sort that. Next time you're over here, I'm taking you to the Everton game. I'm going to introduce you to a couple of people that we're at the club. But yeah, it just, everything about him was brilliant. And I thought Teofimo Lopez's team, not Teofimo Lopez, handled the week dreadfully. I thought the way they carried themselves, the carry on out of them, I thought it was just uncalled for, ridiculous. And sometimes you just need to let the fight and do the talking. I mean, everyone's going to look at this and say, you're a fine one to talk. Yes, but believe you me, it was always me, the fighter, causing the trouble. Or the opinion was coming from me, the
never
fighter.
Anyone else within your camp. No,
yes,
agreed.
Me camp was quiet. Shut your mouth. I'm going to do the fighting. These will do the talking. This is going to set it all up, and these are going to show what can happen. Teofimo Lopez is an amazing fighter. He really is, and I just wish that this team around him would appreciate him a little bit more.
All right, that's your one. That was recent. I'm going to go back to the start of the year for my one, and we forgot about this one. Josh Warrington, Mauricio Lara.
Wow.
Where did that come from? Let me tell you a bit of fun here. I remember they do the fighters would do their little sort of stuff for the media, right? Hitting pads. Mauricio Lara was hitting the pads, and I tweeted, it was famous. I tweeted what is this? This is a disgrace. Warrington's going to run through this guy like a hot knife through butter. I deleted that tweet immediately. I was like, where's that tweet? Quick, delete it.
Do you know what?
Shocked the hell out of me, this one did. And it wasn't just, like Kiko Martinez, Kid Galahad, he caught him. Lara was beating up Warrington throughout.
Yeah, but the thing with Kiko Martinez and Kid Galahad, Kiko Martinez has that power. He's always been capable of that one big punch. Yeah. With Lara, we knew nothing.
Didn't know anything.
And I remember fight week, and Eddie Hearn was once again toning him.
Scared, petrified.
He was going, Tone, I don't fancy, Canelo's being on to me saying this kid can really fight. And the losses on his career weren't really losses. And I was going, you say this every time. Yeah. Get a grip, Ed, really. He said, Tone, I'm honest to God. I'm really nervous for Josh Warrington. I was like, you need to get a grip of yourself. And as soon as he landed the first heavy shot, I was like, oh, we've got a problem here.
Big problem.
We've got a problem. And I thought, Josh was like a rabbit stuck in the headlights. What I will commend him for, he was so brave.
Yeah. Too brave?
No.
Is that a thing? Can you be too brave?
The fighter can never be too brave. Yeah. The coach can be too brave, and a referee can be too brave sometimes. They're the bad things that can happen. A fighter can never be too brave. I think it's the way you're made. It's the way you've got to be, Eddie, being a world champion. So I commended Josh Warrington so much, even in defeat, because he was willing to just throw his body at the line and give it everything he had. And immense amount of pride and sacrifice he showed in that fight. And then to go straight in with him in the rematch, we know it didn't end the way we all wanted it to, but serious amount
that was looking dangerous as well. I remember me, you, Chris Lloyd and Darren Barker ringside, and we were like, this was getting a bit scary as well.
Even the punches that wing past his head.
The noise of them coming. All right, so those are the upsets. All right, next one, a Rising Star of the Year award. Now, this one could be a case of whose stock do you think's risen the most as well. So a bit of Rising Star, a bit of stock has risen. Who are you going for?
Now, there's a few names, because you've said a couple of scenarios there we can place out. I think the person whose stock has risen the most in 2021 without a shadow of a doubt is Conor Benn. I think he's been absolutely phenomenal. His victories, the one-round KO over Samuel Vargas, and then all the way, I know there's a fight in between, but then the Algieri win was just phenomenal again. I think his stock's risen the most. I think the brightest out of them all, and the man who I would say, well, you know what? I'm going to name another two.
No, you can't. Well, don't take mine. You might be taking one of mine.
No, I won't. I'm pretty sure it won't. But I would say there's obviously the likes of Boots Ennis, about unbelievable, absolute monster.
Yeah. Now made mandatory as well for Errol Spence IBF title.
And another one who I actually think this kid's the future of boxing.
Wait, you're going to say mine. I'm going to say his name because you might say his name. Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah.
Hey, that's why we do the show together. See, there you go. Shakur Stevenson, I think is a problem. He's a big problem. And he's going to go through the weights as well. I don't know if you've probably seen that photo of him and Terence Crawford. Obviously, Terence works alongside him. Same size. And I'm thinking, 130. He's going to go to 135. He's going to go to 140. And I already think, look at the guys at 135, removing Loma from it, just because, obviously, I like Loma so much. I think he could beat them all. Put him in against Ryan. I think he beats Ryan. I think he calls Devin Haney fits. Gervonta Davis could be a problem because of Davis's power, but he's going to go through the weights. I'm super impressed by him.
I think
Olympic silver medalist as well.
I think he's going to be the boy who runs boxing. Yeah. I think he's the next Canelo on the block. I think he's that good. I've known about him for such a long time. Even when he was an amateur, I knew he was outstanding. He's just an exceptional talent. I remember myself and my friend, the journalist Christopher Walker, he works with us at Dazn, and I remember us chatting about him many years ago, and I just thought, I've seen something, and anyone who Andre Ward pays special attention to, you should be very aware of. And Andre was cajoling this boy, talking to this boy, helping this boy at such a young age. That will have only paid him dividends going forward.
Yeah, and it was a fantastic win over Jamel Herring as well, considering what Jamel Herring done to Carl Frampton a few months earlier. So that shows the levels as well. So I'm with you, Shakur Stevenson. All right, this one's a bit different. Best dressed. Who is the best dressed boxer? I don't mind going first in this one, because when I think of best dressed, I think who comes to the ring crazy. Like, you know, the complete opposite of Mike Tyson, who came with nothing. And the person that kind of springs to mind for me is Montana Love. And the reason why, not only does he come dressed crazy, he done something I've never seen before. He brought a dog to the ring. Now, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of all that kind of stuff, but he brought a dog. He's little, I don't know what the dog was, by the way. I don't know the make of the dog, but he brought the dog to the ring. And he's always flashy, always crazy. So I'm gonna go Montana Love. And I have seen him outside of boxing as well, and he still does dress pretty sharp. So Montana Love is the best dressed person in boxing.
Okay.
Who you got? Who dresses quite smart? Who like wears suits to the press conferences and the show? Who's the Conor McGregor of boxing? Like, you're very smart. You're very smart. Oh,
I try to be. I try to be.
Yeah.
I've got a fantastic tailoring signature bespoke to the best in the business, so, you know, I'm very fortunate I've got them on side. But who is the best fitted suits in boxing? Okay.
Because you think of the usual suspects, they don't really. I'll tell you who wears nice gear now.
I could say
Canelo wears nice stuff.
No, yeah,
he wears these kind of D&G or Gucci pajamas.
D&G's with him all the way.
Should we give it to the main man for the best dressed? Should we give it to the main man?
Yeah, I actually
the
am.
Supremo, Eddie Hearn.
No,
Eddie Hearn
I was going to say, you know, someone, and you're probably going to cut this out, and I think you should, but you know who's always dressed really smart?
Go on.
Leonard Ellaby.
They might cut it out.
But outside of him, I would say Eddie.
Yeah. Well, they might get on. So, Eddie versus Leonard for the best dressed.
No, you know what?
But Leonard's always sharp.
Yeah,
Leonard's always sharp.
I'll be honest. This sounds outlandish, but I like the way Canelo dresses. I mean, if I could pull it off, I'd wear what he's wearing.
I'm telling you, Canelo pulls it off. All right, so Canelo, Leonard Ellaby, Eddie Hearn, Montana Love. We've given you 4. We've given you 4. All right, so we've got loads more awards to give out. This one, I think, could be the best one. This is going to be the best award because I think this is what makes boxing. It really does. Best ring walk. Who has the best ring walk in boxing? Tony, we said just now off air that you've got one. I think I've got one. You said it. Can we do like a 3, 2, 1 and say the name then of the person? Okay. 3, 2, 1. Josh Warrington.
It had to be. It had to be.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I've never experienced
Headingley, Josh Warrington versus Lara, the rematch. It felt like there was 100,000 in there. I think there was like 20,000 in there. It honestly felt like 100. It was the most incredible ring walk. And I've been to a lot of fights. I mean, you've had some crazy ring walks.
The hairs on the back of my neck standing up, because it's taken me back. That is the best ring walking atmosphere I've ever experienced. I've been to Ricky Hatton fights in the MEN. I've seen Mayweather walk to the ring against Mayweather, against Pacquiao.
Even some of AJ's have been good.
AJ's have been amazing. His ring walk for the Klitschko fight, his ring walk for I've seen so many great AJ walks. My own one at Goodison Park, I've been part of them. The David Hay ring walks, I enjoyed even when he walked to the ring because I loved his music. But this one at Headingley that night, it was just unbelievable. Yeah. It's the best atmosphere I've ever witnessed. The Leeds fans were amazing. That song, that Killer song, was just...
Mate, and then he got rose, didn't he? I mean, they raised him up, didn't they, on that kind of, I don't know what it is, that platform. Then he got off it and sprinted to the ring, and I was like, can you just stop life right now? Pause.
Can we spend an hour here? Can we just spend an hour?
And that's why it was so upsetting when the fight ended on the cut. It was like,
I thought he was on his way to doing it, but there was definitely some hairy moments in there, some moments that had me on the edge of my seat, a little bit weary. As I said, we were squashed, 4 of us on 2 seats at ringside, scram next to each other, and yeah, my bottle was going for the lad, but it was just such a shame to finish it like that, but this is boxing.
Yeah, it was crazy. Fantastic ring walk. Josh Warrington. A couple of other good ones were AJ's ring walk. I fought against Usyk with the Rocky Balboa music. Was crazy. All the pyrotechnics and fireworks going all over.
Usyk's ring walk was amazing because when he puts that mask down,
Elon Musk mask, wasn't it?
He's like an alien, a Martian coming.
As an AJ fan, it scared me. When he came with as an alien, I thought, oh, we're done here.
He's so. When he gets that tunnel vision, Alexander, he's formidable. He's a force to be reckoned with. And I say, when you see him in that ring, he's in and he's just staring at AJ, and he doesn't move. He's not carrying on warming up. Nothing. He's just looking at him, staring at him.
Crazy. And the whole team were doing it as well, by the way.
Force.
The whole team.
A force to be reckoned with.
Such is the world now. Social media dominates. So we've got to bring this one up. Twitter beef. Who has had the best Twitter beef in 2021? You know, I'll quickly mention one. Leonard Edderby, as you said, Eddie Hearn. Now they are going on it, ain't they? They are going at it on Twitter, those two.
Is Eddie responding?
Eddie's responding.
And what's he saying?
Eddie's saying things as though like, oh, obviously you weren't going to respond to me, Leonard, but you just did.
Yeah, Eddie's smart. He's way ahead of Leonard when it comes to...
too fast.
Yeah.
Too fast. Go on, Twitter beef. Fan of Twitter?
Yes.
Not on it and then not on it. Then on it, then not on it.
Yeah, I'm on it. I take breaks from. I mean, the reason I joined Twitter in the first place was purely to make the Nathan Cleverley first fight. Jürgen Bremer had fell through, and no one was listening to me when I was saying I'll fight Nathan Cleverley on 72 hours notice.
That's, by the way, crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts, especially when I was like 14 and a half stone, and I had to make 12.7 in 3 days, but I was willing to give it a go. Yeah. And so I thought I'll just join this, see what they say. And I remember Sky Sports getting wind of it and saying we want Bellew as the replacement for Jürgen Bremer, but the fight can still go ahead as box office. And everyone knows the story. I turned over at a press conference. I could get no more weight off possible. And what did you get down to? You Beben Rat was the last word said. Yeah. What did it get down to? Yeah. As I say, I started off at 14 and a half stone. I got down to 12. I know I lost 16 pounds in the first 16 hours of the first phone call going ahead. And you wouldn't believe how many women have asked me, how did you lose 16 pounds in 16 hours? You don't want to know, girl. You don't want to know. 10-mile jog, running up and down a train on the way to London Euston with a sweatsuit on. 3 gym sessions and a 24-mile bike ride, all with sweat gear on. So that was how the 16 pound came off. And then I got to the stage where my body completely shut down on me. The last thing I remember doing was going in a sauna for 2.5 hours. My coach lost 9 pounds in the sauna with me. I lost half a pound.
That's when you know the body's just shut down and you can't do no more. Yeah. But the fights happened. You had a couple of fights against Nathan Cleverley, one apiece. Was there any talk of a trilogy? Should have been 2-0 to be fair, but that chat's for another day. No, definitely wasn't, especially after that second one. It was horrendous, but that was his fault, not mine. You can take a horse to water, you can't make it drink. Anyway, my Twitter beef that I'm going for is Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. The fight that everyone wants to see in 2022. We want to see who's the premier welterweight. We want to know, because I'm not going to lie, before Terence Crawford and Sean Porter, I've always had Errol Spence as the favourite going in. I just feel like Errol Spence is your modern day Marvin Hagler. I feel he's a guy who, he's got no real standout qualities. He's not the biggest puncher, he's not the quickest, he's not the best, but when you put them all together, he does everything so well. Agreed. He does the basics brilliant. Does that mean he's like a 7 out of 10 at everything? Maybe even an 8 out of 10. But Terence has got a couple of 10s, hasn't he? Yes. Yeah. And I do actually think his punch power is very, very underrated. He's spiteful. So after Spence being in the crash, in the car incident, and I know he's had that one bout back, but even since then, I've now got Terence Crawford as a favourite, because I just feel Terence Crawford is digging these shots in more, has a little bit more variety. But do not be surprised if the sheer size and strength of Errol Spence was to overcome. Make it happen. Make it happen, boxing world. My Twitter beef is Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia. Both people that know their social media. Obviously, Ryan Garcia will always tell us he's got 4.4 million Instagram followers. Really? Something like that's ridiculous, right? How many have you got? You must have about 1 million.
I don't know. It's round. It's somewhere closing in on it. It might be about 3/4. 800.
Feel free to follow me, by the way, because I need more followers. Ade.oladipo.
He's much better to follow than me. Mine is nonsense.
Can I get some more followers, please? But these two, obviously, look, have been going at it for ages. Both have been, offered the fights, and the other has turned it down, and they just keep on going at each other.
Who do you think wins it, though, Addy?
I think Gervonta leaps Ryan Garcia.
I'm not going to lie. So do I. I think he is the biggest punching featherweight or in the lighter weight divisions since Nassim Hamed. Yeah. I think he's the biggest
But I think Ryan Garcia, I think we sleep on him because obviously, look, pretty boy and all that kind of stuff he gets labelled as. He can fight. Luke Campbell will tell you that this guy can fight.
Does he get labelled that pretty boy thing because of his social media presence?
Because he's a good-looking kid.
He is a good-looking kid, yes. But I just think there's something not quite right there. Yeah, I know we've seen in the media that he cited social mental health issues and stuff like that, and he needs a bit of time away from boxing, as we all do at certain times in our life. But he can't have no greater of a role model inside the camp than Canelo Alvarez.
Agreed. Just the whole camp right now has got Frank Sanchez is in there, Martinez is in there, Reynoso,
brilliant coach,
and Ruiz is in there as well, doing good things finally. So yeah, you're right. You can't have much, but hopefully, again, we call it Twitter beef here in the Twitter beef awards. I don't want to give out a Twitter beef award because I want it to be real. Yeah. So hopefully we do get Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford, and who knows, Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia could be one of the biggest fights in America as well. All right, the final award goes to, and we've had so many guests, so many good guests on the Dazn boxing show this 12 months. Who has been your best guest?
Very, very easy one for me, this.
Should we do the 3-2-1 again?
Is yours the same as mine?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll do 3-2-1, but I'd be surprised if yours is the same as mine, but go on.
Right, best person I've spoken to anyway, it always entertains me. 3, 2, 1,
Roy Jones.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
By far.
Why Roy?
Me idol, me hero, I used to study watching him grow up. I'm amazed. The first time I met him, I was amazed he even knew who I was. I met him at a WBC convention.
Why would you be shocked at that?
Because I just was. He's just Roy Jones, isn't he? And he's amazing. And when you've been studying a guy for so long and you know everything about him, literally I could tell you any stats or facts about his career. He's just amazing. He really is. But yeah, being on here working with him for the AJ Usyk build-up and fight, and just being around him and in his presence and
I did the Beyond the Bell for AJ Usyk, and it was with Roy, and I'm like, what is going on? Me working with Tony was a surreal moment, but Roy Jones was like, this doesn't even make sense. Roy Jones Jr.
For me,
he's like Ade, and I was like, Roy knows my name. This is incredible.
For me, the greatest fighter that's ever graced boxing, bar none.
I couldn't argue.
I just feel a pride.
He's peak for peak.
If Roy walks away after the John Ruiz fight, or even after the
James Stone,
when he comes back down in weight and he goes up against Antonio Tarver in the first fight, even if he walks, because there's never been a fighter, by the way, who's gone up in weight and come back down and stayed undefeated by losing a lot of weight. And the only person who's done it, and it wasn't much weight, is Floyd Mayweather. He's the only person in the history of boxing who's had successful things by going up and down in weight. Now, if Roy retires after the John Ruiz fight, or as we say, the Antonio Tarver first fight, he goes down, no questions asked, as the greatest fighter who's ever graced the sport of boxing. No one can dispute it. From light heavyweight to heavyweight, he would have walked the cruiserweight titles when he was around. So
why can't we just stop there though? Like, why can't we we know it wasn't the same Roy after. So do we judge him for his whole career? Or do we say, no, Roy was not the same Roy, like Enzo fought or Courtney Fry fought. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't that Roy.
The real boxing people know that. Yeah. The real, like, I class myself as someone, and I don't want to use the word boxing historian because that's just ridiculous. I'm not old enough
you know
to
your
do
stuff.
That. But I know my stuff, and I can break a fighter down. Any fighter in the world, I can break him down within a couple of times of watching him. Give me a couple of fights and I'll break him down, how to beat him, what to do. His strengths, his weaknesses, how you would do it, how you would not do it. And I just feel a prime Roy Jones Jr. was the closest thing to unbeatable you could get. So equal in offense and defense, had one-punch power. His balance was unbelievable. His footwork was phenomenal.
Speed.
Just pure,
the left hook.
Outlandish,
everything.
Dangerous speed.
He used to fight people with hands behind his back and just like, they didn't know what hand was coming.
The Australian guy who knocks out his hands behind his back. There's just so many. There's so many great victories in his career. Like there's fights I was watching and studying when no one even knew who he was. The likes of Miki Sosa when he deals with him. The things he could do in a ring, I can't explain.
I feel bad now because you've obviously done all that about Roy Jones Jr. and I said Babbage, and I don't know. And how do I?
Babbage is great though.
How do I compete with that though?
Babbage
I think Babbage is fantastic.
Babbage is pure.
You know what I like about Babbage more than
entertainment.
anything, and you know this because you know how difficult it is to make your name in this sport, especially if there's no, no big amateur background, no big promoter jumping on your back. The way Babbage has risen in the last 12 months, he's now become a fan favourite. Like Babbage is fantastic entertainment at his press conferences, gives you energy, will always stop for a photo with fans. And you watch those things. I'm watching Babbage from afar and I'm watching all that and I'm like, this guy's perfect. He really is. And I wish him all the best. And I just find him entertaining. It makes me laugh. It really does.
He's my personal favourite, as I've said a couple of times. Outside of my own personal stable that I manage and help look after, he is my favourite prospect in the country.
He really is.
Can we still say he's a prospect? I don't know. What I can say is he's willing to fight anyone. And there's no getting something else with Babbage. It's not like he's going to say one thing and get in the ring and do another. No. He's just going to get it and he's going to have a fight.
Yeah, what you see with Alan Babbage is certainly what you get. All right, those are the awards for 2021. Look, get your awards in as well. I know we've missed out something. I know you're screaming down the lens at me right now saying, Ade, Fight of the Year is, and you missed it out. Fighter of the Year is, and you've missed it out. But look, have a bit of fun. Get your awards in as well. And we look forward to an absolutely fantastic 2022 on Dazn. We're going to be everywhere. We're going to be all over the world putting on great fights. Myself and Tony will be there as well. So make sure you tune in to the Dazn Boxing Show.